Pretty perfect is right. We've seen already in your first two matches here that you're adding in some new tools. We're starting to see the drop shot a little bit more. Is that something that we're going to see in 2026, Coco? Maybe something you worked on in the offseason to add a new dimension to your game?
I don't know, we'll do 2 minutes at the end of practice with them, and then honestly the drop shot, it's always a bad idea in my head, and then I make it and I'm like, oh, okay, that was good. I saw Carlos yesterday and I was like, I'm trying to drop shot like him. In my first match I won 7 drop shot points.
Coco Gauff just admitted she's been stealing Carlos Alcaraz's signature shot, the drop shot. She saw him play, decided she wanted to hit them like him, and proceeded to win every single drop shot point in her second round match. 7 drop shot winners in round 1. Perfect execution in round 2. Her coach told her not to drop shot on pressure points. She ignored him completely. Is Gauff's drop shot going to become as deadly as Alcaraz's, or is this just a hot streak? Comment your prediction.
Hi, Coco. I think everyone here today would agree that that was a pretty flawless performance. You played some incredible tennis, but you are the ultimate perfectionist. You're very critical on yourself. Is this the type of match that you can agree that you played really well and there's no negatives?
Except the backhand I missed at 40.
All right.
I missed the backhand at 40 love to go up 5-0, but other than that, it was perfect.
Coco Gauff just demolished Olga Danilovic 6-2, 6-2 in the second round of the Australian Open, and the post-match interview revealed something absolutely fascinating. Gauff has been watching Carlos Alcaraz, studying his drop shot, and actively trying to incorporate it into her own game. And it's working spectacularly. Here's exactly what Gauff said in her on-court interview with Chris Eubanks. Honestly, the drop shot is always a bad idea in my head, and then I make it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was good. I saw Carlos yesterday, and I was like, I'm trying to drop shot like him. In my first match, I won 7 drop shot points, which I don't think I've ever done. And today I won all of them that I did. It's a good shot until I miss it.
We've seen already in your first two matches here that you're adding in some new tools. We're starting to see the drop shot a little bit more. Is that something that we're going to see in 2026, Coco? Maybe something you worked on in the offseason to add a new dimension to your game?
I don't know, we'll do 2 minutes at the end of practice with them, and then honestly the drop shot, it's always a bad idea in my head, and then I make it and I'm like, oh, okay, that was good. I saw Carlos yesterday and I was like, I'm trying to drop shot like him. In my first match I won 7 drop shot points, which I don't think I ever done, and then today I won all of them that I did. So it's a good shot until I miss it, and then my coach told me don't go drop shot on pressure points, and I think almost every time I drop shotted today was on a pressure point and it worked. So.
Let's break down why this is such a big deal. The drop shot has never been a significant weapon in Gauff's arsenal. She's built her game around incredible court coverage, elite defense, and wearing opponents down with her consistency and athleticism. The drop shot was something she'd occasionally throw in as a change of pace, but it wasn't a shot she actively hunted or relied on. Now she's watching Alcaraz, one of the best drop shot artists in men's tennis, and consciously trying to emulate what he does. And the results have been immediate and dramatic. 7 drop shot winners in her first round match against Kamila Rakimova. Perfect execution in her second round demolition of Danilovic. That's not coincidence. That's a player actively improving her game by studying greatness. The most hilarious part of Gauff's admission is that she's ignoring her coach's advice about when to use the drop shot. Her coach specifically told her not to drop shot on pressure points. And what did Gauff do? I think almost every time I drop shotted today was on a pressure point, and it worked.
I heard a little birdie told me that your dad dominated in mini golf. Your mom was obviously the MVP of the escape room. Who is...
She was right. What? No, that's not true, but okay.
Who is the most competitive person in your family, and sometimes do you find competing even in a tournament to be a bit of a benefit for you?
Yeah, yesterday we did cards and I won. But I did lose to my dad in mini golf. He won $50, so that was good. But honestly, the most competitive person in my family has to be my youngest brother. He's had some meltdowns with us. And we're 10 years apart, so I don't do him any favors. I treat him like he's my age because he has to learn, grow up. So I think Cameron is the most competitive, and then probably me.
Tough love from Coco Gauff. Well, we'll see you in the third round. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Coco Gauff.
That's peak Coco Gauff energy right there. Being told not to do something, doing it anyway, and having it work out perfectly. The confidence to ignore your coach's tactical advice in the moment because you trust your instincts is what separates good players from great ones. Gauff is 21 years old and she's already operating with that level of court awareness and decision-making autonomy. The connection between Gauff and Alcaraz goes deeper than just the drop shot. Former WTA pro Andrea Petkovic recently drew comparisons between the two on the Rennie Stubbs Tennis podcast, focusing on their incredible mentality. I honestly think it's amazing with Coco, similar to Carlos Alcaraz, that they can have that day where they just have so much trouble, but they have this incredible mentality to still fight through. Petkovic referenced Gauff's United Cup performances to make her point. Coco had a really tough time against Jessica Buses-Monero, served 13 double faults, a lot of unforced errors. But then just 3 days later, she played one of the best matches I've ever seen her play against Iga Świątek. That ability to bounce back from a terrible performance and immediately play elite tennis is exactly what Alcaraz does consistently. The comparison makes sense when you think about it. Both players are young superstars who've already won multiple Grand Slams. Both have incredibly athletic games built on speed and court coverage. Both play with joy and enthusiasm that's infectious. And both have this remarkable ability to compartmentalize bad matches and move on quickly without letting losses affect their confidence. Gauff herself has openly admitted to drawing inspiration from Alcaraz's philosophy. Last year, during her French Open run, she revealed she was trying to adopt his mindset of enjoying tennis and life more. That approach paid off spectacularly when she won Roland-Garros, defeating Aryna Sabalenka in the final. Alcaraz won the men's singles title the same year, making the parallel even more perfect. The two have spent time together off the court as well. They famously explored the Forbidden City together in Beijing before both winning the China Open in 2024. They clearly have mutual respect and admiration for each other's games, and now Gauff is actively studying Alcaraz's tactics and incorporating them into her own repertoire. The drop shot is particularly interesting as a tactical addition for Gauff because it addresses one of the few weaknesses in her game. Gauff's court coverage is so good that opponents struggle to hit winners past her. She tracks down shots that should end points and turns defense into offense. But that defensive excellence can sometimes make her predictable. Opponents know she's going to get everything back, so they just keep swinging harder and harder trying to overpower her. The drop shot completely disrupts that dynamic. If opponents are expecting Gauff to be camped out on the baseline retrieving everything, a well-timed drop shot catches them completely off guard. They're positioned too deep to recover. The point ends immediately. And once Gauff establishes the drop shot as a genuine threat, it opens up the entire court for her. Opponents have to play closer to the baseline to defend against the drop, which makes Gauff's passing shots more effective. Alcaraz is the perfect player to study for drop shot technique because he's mastered both the defensive drop shot and the offensive drop shot. The defensive drop shot is when you're on the run, scrambling to get a ball back, and you drop it short to buy yourself time to recover. Alcaraz does this brilliantly. The offensive drop shot is when you're in control of the point and you use the drop to end it immediately. Alcaraz is even better at this version. What makes Alcaraz's drop shot so deadly is the disguise. He sets up his forehand exactly the same way whether he's going to crush a winner down the line or feather a drop shot cross-court. The preparation is identical. By the time his opponent realizes it's a drop shot, it's too late to react. That's the level Gauff is trying to reach. The fact that Gauff won 7 drop shot points in her first match is remarkable because it suggests she's not just throwing them in randomly. She's picking the right moments, executing the shot cleanly, and forcing errors or winners. 7 successful drop shots in one match would be a career highlight for some players. For Gauff, it's apparently just the beginning of incorporating this weapon permanently. The second-round match against Danilovic provided more evidence that this isn't a fluke. Gauff won every drop shot point she attempted. Every single one. That's not luck. That's a player who's worked on the shot, understands when to use it, and is executing it at a high level under pressure. The pressure point aspect is particularly important. Gauff mentioned that her coach told her not to drop shot on pressure points, but she did it anyway, and it worked. Pressure points are when the score is close, when break points are at stake, when one point can swing the momentum of a game or set. Those are the moments when most players default to their most reliable shots. For Gauff, that would typically be her backhand or a deep forehand. But Gauff is using the drop shot in those exact moments, and it's working because opponents don't expect it. They're thinking Gauff is going to try to extend the rally, wear them down, force them into an error. Instead, she ends the point immediately with a drop shot they can't reach. That's advanced tactical thinking from a 21-year-old. The other fascinating detail from Gauff's interview was her assessment of the only imperfection in her match. When asked if it was a flawless performance, she immediately responded, "Except the backhand I missed at 40 loved to go up 5-0. But other than that, it was perfect." That's the mindset of a champion. She won 6-2, 6-2, dominated the match from start to finish, and the only thing she can think about is one missed backhand. That perfectionism drives improvement. It's why Gauff is adding new weapons like the drop shot, even though she's already won multiple Grand Slams. She's never satisfied. She's always looking for ways to get better, to add new dimensions to her game, to become harder to beat. The statistical context makes Gauff's Australian Open run even more impressive. Since 2022, she's now 14 and 0 in second-round matches at Grand Slams. She's one of only 4 players, along with Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Świątek, and Alina Svitolina, to have an unbeaten record in the second round during that span. And she's won 39 consecutive Grand Slam matches after taking the first set. Her last loss in that scenario was to Amanda Anisimova at Wimbledon 2022. Those numbers demonstrate consistency and mental toughness. Gauff doesn't let up when she gets ahead. She doesn't give opponents opportunities to crawl back into matches. She closes out wins efficiently and moves on to the next round. Her next opponent is fellow American Hailey Baptiste in the third round. This will be their second meeting, with Gauff winning their previous encounter in 2023. Baptiste is a solid player, but she's not in the same tier as Gauff. This should be another opportunity for Gauff to continue refining her new drop shot weapon against live competition. The broader question is whether Gauff's rivals are already feeling the pressure of her adding yet another dimension to her game. She's already one of the best defenders in women's tennis. Her forehand has improved dramatically. Her serve, despite ongoing issues, is more reliable than it used to be. And now she's adding a potent drop shot that she's willing to use on pressure points. That's terrifying if you're trying to compete with her. How do you game plan against someone who can beat you in multiple ways? You can't just camp on the baseline because she'll drop shot you. You can't come forward because she'll pass you. You can't try to overpower her because her defense is too good. Every strategic approach has a counter in Gauff's game now. The Alcaraz connection adds another layer to this storyline. Both players are the present and future of their respective tours. Both have already won multiple majors. Both play with creativity and joy. And now they're apparently learning from each other, sharing ideas, and raising each other's level. That's good for tennis, it's good for fans, and it's especially good for Gauff's opponents to worry about. The fact that Gauff openly admits to studying Alcaraz and trying to replicate his shots shows maturity and intelligence. Lesser players would be too proud to admit they're copying someone else's technique. Gauff doesn't care about that. She sees something that works, she studies it, she incorporates it into her own game. That's how you maximize your potential. Coco Gauff is stealing Carlos Alcaraz's drop shot, ignoring her coach's advice, and winning every point. If you think this makes her unstoppable at the Australian Open, smash that like button. If you believe the drop shot is just a temporary weapon that won't last, hit subscribe and tell us why. Either way, Gauff just became even more dangerous than before.